Welcome to today's webcast series presentation, Advancing the Civil Design Review Process with Model-Based Reviews. My name is Jaden Anderson with Civil Plus Structural Engineer Media. Thank you for joining this webcast, which is sponsored by Bentley. Before we begin today's presentation, first some general information about the webcast and GoToWebinar platform. The views of the speakers and organizations participating in this webcast are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Civil Plus Structural Engineer Media or its publisher, Zweig Group. If you have any technical difficulties while viewing this webcast, please submit questions or a brief explanation of your technical problem using the question tab on the GoToWebinar control panel, and a representative will assist you. During the webcast, you can also submit questions to our speakers using the same question tab. Submit your questions at any time, and we will try to answer as many as we can later in the webcast. Zweig Group encourages group learning for our events. If you are viewing the live webcast with a group on one registered person's computer, that person must complete and submit the multiple viewer registration form for the group in order for everyone to earn credit. Download the multiple viewer registration form in the Handouts tab on the control panel. Submission instructions are on the form. Viewers of archived webcasts must pass a quiz in order to download a certificate of completion. Today's presenter is Taylor Gilmore. Taylor Gilmore is a Director of Product Management in the Civil Infrastructure Group at Bentley System and oversees the direction of ProjectWise 365 services and related iTwin services. He has spent the past 9 years working on infrastructure management software and has been directly involved in the successful planning, design, and delivery of over 20 infrastructure management systems during his time as a project and product manager at Bentley. During this tenure, Taylor has been closely tied to the infrastructure industry by attending and presenting at transportation, preservation, and asset management conferences, in addition to his role in numerous inspection and asset management software implementations. Taylor has a bachelor's degree in computer science from Grove City College and is based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And now I'm going to hand over our presentation to Taylor.
All right, thank you. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, looks good.
All right, great. Let me hide that there. And we'll get started. Thanks again, everybody, for joining here today. As we mentioned, we're going to be taking a look at a new product here coming out from Bentley that we're excited to present to everybody. And its goal is to help improve and streamline the design review process by enabling 3D and 2D model-based design reviews. And we're going to look at how the new product, iTwin Design Review, can improve team collaboration. And we're going to take a look at the different capabilities that are available within iTwin Design Review. So if we take a step back and look at the design review solutions that exist and at the design review process in general, it's very clear some key tenets of functionality that are required in order to enable a design review workflow. So first of all, you need an easy way to share and visualize the project, the designs, and the associated information with project members. Those project members need to have a way to collect and share feedback on those designs, to be able to coordinate with one another, identify issues, and make sure that they are resolved. And then you obviously need to be able to track all of that feedback throughout the process. And this can be across a number of different people, a number of different disciplines, even across a number of different organizations, to track the changes that are ongoing throughout the course of a project, and tracking to make sure that all of the issues that are identified are verified and approved to satisfaction. So if we look at design reviews today, there's a lot of challenges in the design review process. We can see there's a lot of designers who are designing in 3D, but typically a lot of reviews are still happening in the 2D space. whether that is 2D PDFs, or in some cases, agencies are still printing off paper and performing design reviews on paper. And with that comes a lot of duplication of design artifacts. Designers are required to kind of reproduce their designs in cut sheets and kind of do a lot of document preparation in order to enable a design review to happen, printing off those cut sheets. And then there's a lot of manual tracking and consolidation of those review issues. So being able to identify all of the different issues that exist across a number of different sheets, and then trying to consolidate those back into into the design files across many different disciplines can definitely be a challenge. And we also know, there's a number of agencies in the industry that we've been working with, in some disciplines more so than others, but a lot of agencies are looking at how to move to, model-based deliverables, and particularly 3D model-based deliverables. And right now, we see that there's definitely a gap of tooling available in the marketplace of, being able to share those model-based files out for review, and being able to provide and consolidate and respond to feedback in an efficient manner, especially when you're sharing with users who may not be familiar with the underlying design tools and navigating around in an authoring environment. So when we looked at those realities, that's what really brought us to creating this new solution called iTwin Design Review. And we've tried very hard to make sure that it is a simplified workflow for both 2D and 3D design reviews. We want to make sure that it is accessible for users, again, who may be more familiar with the paper process or PDF process, and it may have been a number of years since they've been in an authoring tool themselves. And we see this tool as being useful throughout the design process. So we want it to be used as we envision that it be used as a milestone and kind of deliverable based review tool, but we can also see it being used kind of in design work in progress, just as a team collaboration tool. We want to make sure that it's easy for users to share out their files, share out their designs, and get feedback throughout the design process. And so even between an official milestone review, we want to make sure that users are able to use this tool efficiently to get feedback, and do it in that kind of capacity. Whereas today, a lot of times, those types of reviews are just handled with looking over each other's shoulders or sending screenshots and emails and those types of things. We know that, by doing this, we hope that we can save agencies a lot of money, because we know, the further that you go down in the design process, the closer you get to completion, the more costly it is to make changes, and the more costly it is to find errors at that phase. And so the earlier in the process that we can enable design reviews to happen kind of continuously throughout the process, the more money is able to be saved by identifying issues early on in the process and having them resolved. So there's actually two different flavors of iTwin Design Review that are available. There's the first one is the kind of an ad hoc or team-based review, and this is the idea is making it, again, very easy for teams to collaborate with each other, share models, and very quickly initiate a review session. The other flavor of iTwin Design Review is more of a project-based review that happens around a digital twin. So in this case, you might be curating a large digital twin for a large project with a lot of different moving parts, and throughout that project, you might need to do design reviews. On this webinar, we're actually going to be focusing on the ad hoc or team-based review. That again makes it very easy to get up and running with a review session and provide feedback. If we look at a very simple storyboard of that team-based workflow, we can see here, starting in step one there on the left, you have an associate engineer or a designer who has a 3D model or a 2D model, either way, that they'd like to share for review. And they want to be able to share that with a lead engineer or reviewer. And so if we compare this to some other applications that I'm sure everybody's familiar with, like Microsoft Word and SharePoint and more new application, Microsoft Teams, that many of you are probably using. It's very easy to complete a workflow like this with Microsoft Word, but where a user can easily have a document, they can click a share button, they type in the email addresses of a user that they want to share with, and then that user receives an email notification with a link to click on, and they can click on it and open it up and begin reviewing that document. And so that's kind of the ease of simplicity that we're aiming for. So in this case, an associate engineer or a designer has a design that they want to review. We want them to very easily be able to click a share button, type in the email addresses of who they want to share that design with. Those reviewers or lead engineers would receive an email notification that they can click on. That link in the email would open up a web browser right to the design that needs to be reviewed, where they can enter in comments, identify any issues that they see, and then the associate engineer can be notified. And so that kind of, again, that ease of simplicity of being able to share out a model for review, have reviewers come in without needing to install applications, just being able to access it through a web browser and provide feedback is really what we're aiming for with iTwin Design Review, and in particular with this kind of team-based ad hoc workflow. If we look at it slightly more from a technical perspective, you can kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. You have your associate engineer here again working in an authoring tool on their desktop application. And when they are ready to share the file out for review, what actually happens is that model is now sent up to the cloud. And so we're using Bentley's iModel framework in the cloud, iModel Hub and iModel Manager, to be able to load that model up into the cloud. And then any users that are invited into that review session for that model will then log in to that centralized environment on the cloud, where they can then see and visualize the model that has been shared. And then they can start leaving comments. And again, all of those comments are left in a centralized place where all users can see and collaborate on those comments together, report on those comments, and then the original designer is able to, again, see those comments and respond to them. Apologies for that. All right, let me jump in here and we can actually take a look at the application itself. So if we look at the portal page that the user would have access to, this shows kind of a dedicated landing page that we have for iTwin Design Review. And so when a user logs into the application, they'd see a page very similar to this. And this gives a user a view of all of the review sessions that they are participating in. And those could be review sessions that they've created themselves, or users that they, review sessions that they have been invited to. And so iTwin Design Review introduces this concept of a review session where a model gets shared out, and then all of the comments that are left on that design are isolated within that particular review session. If I play the video here, we can see just how easy it is to initiate a review session. Up there in the top left-hand corner of the screen, you can see an option to upload a file to create a review session. And so when a user does that, they'll be prompted to upload a file. Right now, you would do this by creating an IDGN file, which can be published from any of our Bentley desktop applications. You upload that IDGN file, you enter in a session name, and then you can also enter in additional participants at this stage of anybody that you would want to invite into that review session. And then that's all that needs to be done to initiate a review session. Very easy to get started. Whatever design you share out is what will be uploaded into that review session. When that review session is created, it'll kind of go through a little conversion process that takes a couple minutes. When it's done, all of the invitees, all the participants of that review session will receive an email notification that looks something like this, basically saying that your review session is ready, or for other participants, it might say that they've been invited into a review session, and it'll have a link there to open up the review session where they can then click, and it'll take them right into a web browser. And so this interface that we see now is the primary review session interface within iTwin Design Review. And again, this is on a web browser. No need to install any additional applications. Any participant who clicks on the link will be able to log in and see this. I'll let the video play here. But again, whatever design has been shared out is exactly what the user will see in the web browser. We've tried very hard to make sure that this application is very easy and accessible for users to navigate around the model. So you have your basic pan and rotate and zoom in. Again, very simple to do that using the simple tools up in the top of the screen. You'll notice throughout the design of the application that we've kind of streamlined things to reduce the number of buttons that are visible, kind of key in on this most important features that design reviewers need to have access to while they're performing their design review, again, to make sure that is easy to use. You'll notice as the video plays here, the user is interacting with a number of comments that have been left. And so each comment on the model is spatially located, and you can see a number of comments that have been left on this model. And each one of those comments is linked over into the right-hand sidebar in a list of all of the comments on this review session. You'll also see it's very easy to click on a comment and zoom into that location. Each comment that is captured in the design will actually have a saved view associated with it. And so that saved view is shown there in the details of that comment. Any user can click on the saved view for a comment, and it'll take their camera right to that location, and so they can easily see what the original commenter was looking at when they left the comment. All of those comment details that you see over in the right-hand pane, that's basically becomes a real-time chat service. It works very similar to Microsoft Teams. You can see users typing back and forth in the screen now, basically allowing them to participate in a chat around each comment. And so those comments, again, are real time. So if you have multiple users in the session at the same time, they can chat back and forth. They're also persisted though. So if you have, you can leave in a number of comments, and then when the other reviewers have a chance to come in, they can see all the comments that have been left and respond to them accordingly. Here you can see a user is creating new comments. In this case, they're looking at a site model. Up in the top left-hand corner of the screen, you can see the new comment feature. When you click that, you basically just click a location in the model, and that will spatially locate a new comment. You can enter in a subject, enter in the comment, and click save. And as soon as you do that, that new comment will be visible and accessible for all of the other users within the review session to be able to view that comment and respond to it. It went kind of quick there, but while the users are chatting, they can very easily call out specific users that they'd like to draw attention to. So you can do things like at a specific user to mention them. We also have unread notifications, so users can see all of the changes that have been made since the last time that they logged in. Take another look at a different model here. In this case, you can see we have a background map loaded. And so we're just loading, in this case, a simple Bing map, but allows you to see that location of your design model in the context in the real world. So users can turn that, that kind of background base map on and off as needed. As I play the video here, a couple other things you'll notice. It's very easy. Users can choose to change the render mode that they have. So if they want to have a hidden line or solid fill or wireframe, they can do that. By default, we use the smooth shade, but users can very easily cycle through those as needed. It's also very easy to turn different levels or categories, if you will, on and off within the application. So there's a model and level navigation tree. In that case, you can see there we have some hide by element functionality, so user can select a specific element and then turn it off. And then you can also see they're loading a saved view here. So we loaded up a saved view widget or a saved view for the 3D default interface there. And that allowed them to kind of turn off all of the specific levels that they wanted to turn off in this particular case. And so not only do we capture a saved view associated with each comment that's left in the review interface, but users can also capture additional saved views to make it easier to share their model. And so those saved views can be created and shared within the online environment. And then we also will pull forward save views from your desktop environment. And so if you create some save views in your desktop, kind of highlighting specific disciplines, or if you need to have a striping-based save view or utility-based save view, you can easily create those and make sure that those are available for any different participants in your review session. So I want to look at some of the other tools that are available. We've been working to add in a number of different review tools, most notably some measurement tools that are available here. In this case, we'll see the user utilizing some of the basic measurement tools like a distance tool and an area tool. You'll see, we very easily snap to the different elements in this 3D model. But again, all of these tools can also be used on a 2D model. And these, again, we're looking at a number of different civil models here, but these tools are, generic, can be utilized for any particular discipline or any type of model that you have loaded in. The other great thing that you might have seen there, so just like when we create a new comment, we capture the saved view for that comment, and then subsequent users can come in, click on that comment, and we'll load the saved view for them. We also allow users to capture and save measurements and other tool settings as part of a save view or as part of a comment. And so when users capture a new comment, they can save that as part of the comment. And then when users come in to open up that comment and respond to it, when they click on that comment, it will automatically load up the measurements that the original commenter had entered in onto the screen. In this case, you can see some of the more advanced civil tooling that we are adding in. So here you can see a cross-section tool. And so in this case, the user opened up a cross-section view, and we're performing some measurements on that cross-section. Here's another cross-section view that you can see that had been saved with a measurement. And so anytime that you're utilizing the cross-section tools or the measurement tools, when you capture a new comment, we will actually save that entire perspective, including the cross-section and any measurements that you've captured as part of that comment. And so when users come in, all they have to do is click on that comment, and it will load up that entire view, including the save view and any measurements, making it very easy for users to kind of see exactly what the original commenter was looking at. This is another one of our more advanced kind of civil specific tools. And so this is looking at a profile of the roadway. So in this case, they selected an alignment. You can see the model is still shown up top and the profile is shown down below. As they move their mouse cursor along the alignment in the profile view, you can see the line is shown up top, moving along the roadway in the model to see exactly where they're at. You can also see the terrain that's being shown. So down below, the green line shows the terrain model as it exists in that profile perspective, but you can see where the terrain is at in the 3D model up top as well. And again, all of these can be saved and stored in comments. It's very easy to capture additional measurements here. You can use the measurement tools to look at slope, look at rise and run. Didn't show this in the video, but we also have station offset tools. So again, you can capture a station offset measurement by simply selecting the alignment and then moving along that alignment and taking specific measurements. And again, all of these different measurements are easily captured as part of the new comment and then shared out to other participants in the review session. This last portion of this video here shows using the sectioning tools to look at a site. And so in this case, you can see the line up top is cutting across the entire site to look at the slopes that exist and the grading that's been done in order to fit this particular site plan into the area. It's very easy to move the sectioning tools around. So in this case, they're just relocating the endpoints of the sectioning tool, and you can see the cross section at the bottom of the screen updates accordingly. The same thing can be done when you're looking at a roadway. So if you need to move it, down an alignment, you can do that to easily see how the cross section of the roadway is changing, or the super elevation is changing as you advance down the alignment of the particular roadway. All right. Another video here showing some different aspects of the review tool. You can see in this particular model, there's a number, or this particular review session, there's a number of comments that have been left. And when you start to get a large number of comments on a review session, it can be kind of unwieldy to navigate through all of those different models, or sorry, all those different comments to find the comments that are most applicable to you that you need to review. And so each time a comment is left in the system, we will capture a status as well as a discipline for the comment. And that makes it very easy for users to kind of find the specific comments that are applicable to them that they need to review. And so in this video, we can see the user using some of our comment interaction tools, like a search tool, to find specific comments that have a certain keyword in them. They can also use the sort and filter by criteria to find comments that are only of a particular status and only of a particular discipline. You could see back there when we were looking at the full model, each comment marker, each marker that's in the model is associated with a comment, and each comment has a status. And so those statuses have color codes. And so you can see all of the different color codes that exist on those comment markers are associated with a unique status. And so users can update the status of each comment as they're working through their review session, and the color codes will update in real time. And so it's very easy to see how the review is progressing and how the different comments are being addressed as different users come into the review session and respond. But certainly, users are also able to have a dialogue on each comment without needing to update the status. And so, if there's a discussion that needs to take place before a decision is made, you can easily do that right within that comment panel and then update the status as needed. Those statuses and disciplines are all configurable. And so if an agency needs to adjust those, you could see some of the defaults that we have in there for new and checked and verified and completed, for example. But if you want to adjust those as an agency, it's very easy to come into the application, go into the settings, and adjust those as needed per your organization. Some of the other features I wanted to touch on, we also have file upload capabilities. So if there's a standards document that needs to be reviewed, it's very easy to upload that document into a comment. And so if they need to refer to a PDF document or a Word document or even an image, it's very easy to just include that into the comment dialog and allow other users to access those related documents directly from there. All right, so that's a very high-level overview of some of the capabilities that exist today. I did want to touch on one big enhancement that's going to be coming soon, and that's integration into our desktop applications. And so the current workflow to initiate a review session that I showed in the video is by uploading an IDGN file to the website to create a new review session. We actually are working to bring that down to the authoring tools so that when a designer is ready to share their review out, they can actually click a button right within their desktop to share that design. very similar to your Microsoft products that I mentioned previously. So a designer would be able to click a button in their ribbon, and just like on the web, all they would have to do is enter in a name for their review session, enter in some participants of who they want to share that design review with, and click OK. And then that review session will be initialized. Kind of behind the scenes, we'll run the conversion process, upload your design and all of the related files up into the cloud, and make those available for all of the session participants to review. And so we're excited about this update. It's going to kind of streamline that process of initiating, make it very easy for users to share out their designs. And this is something that we're planning to release as part of the next round of Connect Edition authoring tool versions. So another good reason to update to the latest Connect Edition version if you haven't already. And then kind of at the other end of the spectrum for your commenting workflow, so we looked at initiating a review session from the desktop app. We're also working on allowing your designers to actually participate in the review session directly from your desktop app. And so that comment list that we see in the website, where you're able to look at all of the comments for a review session, open those comments up, see the comment history, and respond to those comments, we're going to be making that available in the desktop applications as well. And so within your desktop application, you'll be able to open up a side panel that shows all of the comments that are on a review session that's related to the design that you're looking at. You can see all the comments that have been left. You'll actually be able to reply to those comments. And so if you have any particular questions about comments that have been left, you can kind of close out those discussions. And the designer can do that without having to leave their authoring tool. So again, it makes it very easy to track the comments that have been left. They can see them in the context of their design environment and respond to those and update the design accordingly. So that's something, again, that we're excited about. Stay tuned for the next round of Connect Edition updates for this to be available. So as we wrap up here, looking at the overall benefits of iTwin Design Review, there's a number of different things that I've touched on here. Being able to initiate reviews directly from your design models, being able to collaborate with discipline-specific tooling. As I mentioned, we have some of those civil-specific tooling available now. We did take a civil-specific focus initially, but there's nothing within iTwin Design Review that is civil only, so we are planning to expand that in the future. It makes it very easy to collaborate and share out right on your design file, which prevents wasted time and additional artifacts needing to be created, sharing things, comments via spreadsheets and passing those around, etc. And then the web-based collaboration, again, without requiring your review participants to install additional applications, making kind of the model-based review accessible, particularly a 3D model-based review accessible to users that aren't that familiar with an authoring environment, aren't familiar with navigating around a 3D model, we think is very powerful as users begin to move towards model-based deliverables and having more 3D-based models. But in the end, we hope that iTwin Design Review can be a big time savings and a big cost savings as well. So by allowing design reviews to happen more easily, we hope that means they can happen more frequently and also sooner in the process, so that any issues that need to be found can be found sooner and corrected sooner before design changes are more costly down the road. So as I mentioned, iTwin Design Review, we've been kind of focusing on the ad hoc workflow of being able to very quickly and easy collaborate with your team. But as I mentioned, there's another flavor of iTwin Design Review that allows you to work in the context of a larger project. And there's a number of other iTwin services that exist on Bentley's iModel.js platform that allows for additional capabilities. And so iTwin Design Review is a great way to get started with the iTwin services. Again, being able to jump in quickly, share out a design, and perform a review on it. Some of the other capabilities that are available if you're kind of in that context of a larger project is being able to do things like perform design validation, perform clash detection and surface that in the context of your review session, being able to take advantage of some design insights to see how design decisions are affecting the cost of the project and those types of things. And so that's a bigger conversation, but iTwin Design Review kind of fits into this ecosystem of iTwin services that Bentley is creating to help improve the design process and eventually have that information flow into construction as well. And so, we're excited to be releasing these iTwin services and excited about how iTwin Design Review fits into that. And with that, I would just have everybody, go ahead and get started. We actually have iTwin Design Review. The functionality that I showed here today is actually available. You can go to the website that I have listed there, review.itwin.bentley.com, and that website allows you to utilize the functionality that I showed today. It's actually currently in a trial mode for everybody, so there's no need to purchase anything yet. You're able to utilize the trial mode and take a look. If you don't have a model to get started with, that's okay. There's actually a sample session on the website that you can get started with to try out the functionality. Feel free to go there, try it out, invite in some colleagues, and we'd love to hear your feedback and see what you think. But as I mentioned, that's currently in a trial mode. We'll be kind of moving on from the trial mode and requiring some licenses early next year, but now's your chance to get in there and see what it's all about. The second one there is on our Bentley website. You can go there to get more information on iTwin Design Review, as well as some of our other iTwin services, and so we encourage you to do that as well. And with that, I'm all done. I think we can hand it back and do some Q&A.
All right, Taylor. Well, thank you so much for that presentation. And yes, we have quite a few questions here. It looks like some of these you kind of touched on a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and ask them anyway in case there's more you want to talk about. All right, our first question is, can a person assigned to review a project assign it to another person?
So this gets into kind of the security aspects of it. It depends on how, I guess it depends on whether you want that to be available or not. In the team-based workflow, the sessions are, you're able to share out a review session with anyone that you would like to. When you invite a participant into the review session, they would have the ability to review that, and then subsequently they could invite people into that review session if they want to. And so kind of in the team-based workflow, there is less security requirements in that regard. Once you move kind of into the project-based world and there are more restrictions, you have to, there's a little bit more security and role-based steps to be able to say who's allowed to be looking at models within this project and participating in these review sessions. And so, I guess it depends on if you want that to be available. There is some more security related controls when you get into kind of the more complex, full kind of project oriented space.
Okay, great. What design file formats can be used with this system?
So as of today, right now, the initial workflow that we have is to upload an IDGN file up to the website. And an IDGN file, you can basically create one of those from any of the Bentley desktop tools, even Bentley View. If you don't have a Bentley licensed any tool, Bentley View is actually a free application that you can download, and then that supports a number of different file formats, even outside of Bentley, where you can publish into an IDGN format. As I mentioned, we're going to be expanding that workflow to enable design files directly from the desktop to be uploaded into a review session to be able to be shared. And so that would be, any of our Power Platform-based applications, any of our open roads or open rail, open site, those types of applications. Bentley as a whole, we also are working on supporting a number of other file types within our iTwin services. And so each of those file types kind of has a specialized conversion program. We refer to them as bridges to basically bridge all of that design data into the cloud, into our iModel Hub service. And so as of today, we have, I mentioned the IDGN upload, but we're going to be expanding that to be able to support other formats. So stay tuned as that gets expanded early next year.
Okay, great. Our next question is, how stable is the interface when working with complex surfaces?
How stable is the interface? So, we're continuing to certainly improve kind of the web-based interface, the web-based view of everything. Obviously, that's a newer platform, and so we're continuing to improve that. We do have very good support for large and complex models. And so, if you have a very large model that is, miles long, we're familiar with dealing with that with different civil projects that we've been working with. And so the viewer can do a good job of loading in not just large, but also complex models to be able to view those. Obviously, there's more improvements that can be made. If you have a particular design file that you'd be interested in trying out, we'd love to work with you. If it's particularly complex, we'd certainly love to open it up and see how it does. And if there's improvements to be made, we'd certainly love to make those.
Very good. Okay, I have a couple more for you and then we'll wrap up. Is this for roadways only, or can it be applied to buildings?
It's not for roadways only. It can be applied to buildings and other structures. So we do have some kind of civil specific tooling in there, like the profile tool, for example, and the station offset tool are a little bit civil specific, but the viewer is generic and can display any design file, and then obviously all of the generic tooling like the measurement and area tooling and the commenting and those types of things are all available to any type of design file that you upload. So if you have a building that you want to review, you're certainly capable and more than welcome to load that in and use the iTwin design review capabilities.
Okay, all right, so we'll take this last question. Can you use this system if you only have 2D designs, or do you have to have 3D models to make this worthwhile?
Yeah, good question. So, certainly we know that there are still a lot of design reviews happening in 2D. There's a lot of design deliverable requirements in 2D. And so iTwin Design Review does support 2D. Our iTwin services platform supports 2D. So if you have 2D models that need to be shared and reviewed, we can definitely do that. And you can definitely perform a design review on a 2D model. We probably focus maybe more than we should on the 3D models in our demos, but definitely 2D capabilities are supported, and you're certainly able to accomplish that.
Okay, perfect. So that's all the questions we have right now. Thank you so much, Taylor, for that. I am going to be launching some polls for our attendees, so please answer those. These are just some general questions from Bentley that they are looking for. All right, go ahead and please submit your answer to that poll question. Okay, thank you for that. And we have another one here. What types of civil design apps do you use is what's coming up here. Uh-oh. Hold on, we're gonna go to the next one. Okay. Let's do this one. What is happening? Okay, great. Thank you for that. And then we have one more. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to get back to, I have some final slides that I need to go over with you guys. Okay. As we finish, please make sure to download your certificate of completion now from the Handouts tab in the control panel. If you missed our note at the beginning and you are watching the live webcast with the group on one person's computer, please download the multiple viewer registration form, which is also under the Handouts tab. We need this information in case you are audited and we are contacted to verify this continuing education activity. There will be screenshots at the end of this presentation of your control panel that will help you navigate these handouts. Additionally, this webcast has been recorded and will be hosted on csengineermag.com/continuingeducation. The PDF will be available with answers to all of the questions submitted during today's webcast. Please visit csengineermag.com/continuingeducation in 2 to 3 business days to view or download the complete Q&A for this webcast. And with that, I would like to thank you, Taylor, for your presentation and everyone at Bentley, and thank you to everyone who joined us. And that ends today's webcast.